Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I'm Christina. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Socially Selling with Christina. Actually, it's with somebody else, but that is the type of podcast that we're going to react to today. This is a podcast from somebody who is experienced in multi-level marketing, and they're setting this up regularly to advise either their team or people that have booked their MLM courses. And I'm going to react to this because I found topic rather interesting. Socially Selling is the podcast from somebody named Becky Baxter, and she was considered a leader in Cutco, in an MLM that sold knives. And then she also worked as an MLM coach and was also somehow connected to Hugh and Grace, another supplement multi-level marketing company. I'm not sure if she was actually a distributor in that company, but she helped with a compensation plan. And she has somebody on her call today, on her podcast today, somebody who's also considered a leader in the MLM Pampered Chef, and they're selling kitchen items there. Selling is a rather loose term, the connection of multi-level marketing companies, but let's just go with this. I found this really interesting because it is a very practical topic. And if you know anything about multi-level marketing companies, if you have team calls or opportunity calls or those type of calls or podcasts, reacting to something that is potentially practical is really, really rare. That's what I really liked about this, and I thought it could be interesting. This is episode 78, How to Run a Successful Team Meeting with Dawn Pambleton. I like the approach because practical information is always good in my opinion. I do also have some question marks. What is successful in this context? And also, why do you need to learn how to set up a team meeting? But it is practical information. I'm not against it. I like that it is not another mindset brainwashing call, but rather something with a practical approach. The description of the episode is as follows. Something we do each week for our Multiply 2.0 clients in a coffee chat on Tuesday morning. We pick a specific topic based on the needs of our clients and offer a training and a Q&A to follow. Well, it's your lucky day because I'm giving you a peek behind the scenes. My good friend Dawn Pambleton led a training for our clients on how to run a successful team meeting, and it was powerful. Whether you are an aspiring leader, a new leader, or even a veteran, this episode has so many gold nuggets, you'll be glad you listened. Well, I will judge if I'm glad you listened, and you will be able to judge as well if you're glad you listened. I will play this at 1.2 speed because the person speaks rather slow in the beginning, and I will also skip the intro of the podcast. It might be copyrighted music, and I don't want to take a risk. So let's get started with socially selling and how to run a successful team meeting.
All the things. Okay. Well, I'm so excited about this for a variety of reasons, but I think also just in general, because you guys might be tired of hearing from me, and, and Monique, right? And so it's nice just every now and then to bring in an expert guest to pour into our community. And so I'm super excited that Dawn is here with us. Dawn Pambleton is one of my dear friends, and I just admire so much about her journey, her character. I am going to read her bio real briefly to you guys, and then I'm going to allow her to take it away for a little bit, as well as, and then at the end, we will allow a couple of questions for those of you that are on live or watching live on Facebook. And I am going to make sure everyone gets muted just so that we have a clean recording. But Dawn has been married for almost 33 years. She has 3 girls and 2 grandsons. She was an executive director with Pampered Chef and had as many as 26 leaders in her organization and has led a team of 650 people. She earned excellence in multiple categories every single year and a trifecta a total of 3 times in her 8 years with Pampered Chef. She also earned Founders Award in Developing Leaders and led a $2.5 million organization. She's earned top level elite trips each year and has right at 500,000 in personal career sales and almost 200 career recruits in her 8 years. That is incredible. So she recently joined another company and became a legacy founding advocate and she already has a team of over 60 people. in just 9 months, you guys. So she made a big transition and is building a team in that company. And then she says her passion is building relationships and creating team culture, which is a perfect segue to what we're going to talk about today. And that is how to, run a successful team meeting, that it falls in line perfectly with team culture. And so I'm just really excited, Dawn. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I'll mute myself and let you take it away.
This is the setup. This is kind of the introduction for the call coming up now. This is somebody who was in the MLM Pampered Chef and who is now left and is in a new MLM. There is no background information given, unfortunately. I would find that really interesting. And the person has experience with a team of over 600 people. And now within just 9 months in the new MLM, the person was able to recruit 60 people, which is not really a surprise because you don't really start at zero. If you're considered a leader in an MLM and you already have a team of people, it is also easier for you to start at a new MLM because a lot of people will very likely follow you. Because after all, MLMs are commercial cults. So it is not just like somebody switching jobs, going from one job to another one. It is very likely that she was able to bring a bunch of people from her old team over to her new MLM. This person has a lot of experience in multi-level marketing, and that is why she's speaking on this call to give information on how to run a successful team meeting. Let's go.
All right. Thank you, Becky. Oh my goodness. It is such an honor to be on here, you guys, this morning with all of you. And thank you so much, Becky. Becky and I go way back. And of course, we've been around the sun a couple times together. And she is an incredible friend and I love her and Monique very much. And so I just want to say thanks for having me. And, congratulations to you guys, all of you rock stars, for joining this program and really investing in yourself. I mean, that says a lot about you guys because growth is change and change is growth, right? So I am excited to be on here this morning. I first want to start out with reading a little piece of this out of this book. You Win in the Locker Room First. If you haven't read this, it's a really great book, John Gordon. So it says in here, and let's see, I'll have to put my glasses on. Sorry, guys. It says, the more I have worked with teams over the years, the more I realize that connection is the key to becoming a great team. And a lack of connection between team members leads to below average teamwork and subpar performance and results. Connection is the difference between a team that thrives and one that crumbles. So we're going to talk today really all about that. We're going to talk about how to have a successful team meeting. We're going to talk about team culture a little bit and just kind of dive into that. So first, I want to ask you guys, honestly, truly, like how many of you guys have your own team meetings? Do you have your own team meetings? Do you have your own things that you do, or do you attend only your uplines? So I just kind of want to see what that is. What do we have in the chat here? Do most of you have your own team meetings? Let's see. Team meetings with my team. Do both have your own and have your upline? Okay. All right. Do both. Okay, good. That's awesome. All right. So let me ask you this. If you're running your own team meetings, is it something you dread or is it something that you look forward to? Okay, so write that down also. Is it something that you dread or is it something that you look forward to? You love it, you get excited. Oh, this is good. Sounds like you guys are all great leaders. Awesome. Dread. Okay. I love it. I love your honesty here. All right. So we're going to talk about all of that today. And hopefully I'm going to unpack as much as I can today. And hopefully you guys can get something out of this and find it beneficial. So
she started off by talking about team culture, and that in itself is something I don't disagree with. It is good to have a certain team culture, company culture, a certain culture within a group of people anyways, but it is a difficult topic, in my opinion, in multi-level marketing companies because everybody is pretty much competition. So having an actual team culture in a team of people that does depend on each other, but is also competition, is potentially very difficult, I would say. You have to build together, aka recruit together, kind of sell together as well for the leaders to make the most money. But you're also competition because you yourself also want to do that. You also want to have customers. You also want to be able to recruit. That's where the competitive parts comes into play. And I guess that is one of the major issues or one of the major problems in multi-level marketing companies, because you do not just depend on your own work, on your own effort, on your own passion. You could spend hours and hours and hours every single day on your MLM business, but you cannot achieve a lot on your own. You need to build a team to make this substantial money, and then you depend on the people on your team as well. And if they're not doing what you want them to do, then there's probably a lot of resentment that can come to the top. And that is one of the very dangerous parts in multi-level marketing companies. You depend on others, but you're also competition.
Who wishes that they had more folks on their team training? How many of you feel that you have info to put out, but no one shows up? Okay, so just all the things we're gonna talk about it. Okay, who wants to know how to change that? How to get maximum participation, how to feel good about your team trainings. And so let's talk about what to do, first of all, leading up to the meeting, okay? Because leading up to the meeting is just as important as the meeting itself, okay? So creating desire for the actual meeting is almost as important as the meeting itself. You want them to be excited about attending, instead of dreading it. So if you yourself are dreading it, they're going to pick up on that. If you are excited about your team meeting, they're going to be excited about the team meeting, right? So the first way to create desire is to be excited about it and to be excited yourself. So I always tell my team that team training only happens once a month. Okay. Team training is only once a month. And guess what? It's the best day of the month. So guys, team training is only once a month and it's the best day of the month. I'm so excited. I can't wait for team training. I hope that you're going to be there, things like that. It's going to be so much fun. And I've done this a couple of different ways over the years. One is to create an actual event where they have to click going and you're posting in there on a regular basis. And some is just posting in the team page, in your team page. But if you create an event, you can create it 2 or 3 weeks out and you can say, oh my gosh, team training is coming up. It is in how many ever days, right? And then you start, getting them more excited. Maybe you talk about something that you're going to talk about, maybe like a topic or something like that. And you'll say, it's only 10 days away. See you then. And then maybe you'll do a 5 days away, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. You get the idea. You're building the excitement of the actual day to where they do not want to miss it. They're looking forward to it as well. They're marking their calendars. They're counting down the days and the time. And then the day of the actual day of training, I like to also send reminders. And I like to send personal reminders to my personal team. If you have a large organization, you can put it out and then your leaders would want to put out, the information to their teams as well. But sending private messages, something like, hey, Susie, I'm so excited about team training tonight. I hope that you'll be on. It won't be the same without you. Something like that. So you're making it even more personal for them. But you have a lot to share, right? On team training, you have a lot to share. You have a lot of great information and you're building culture. So you're building those relationships with them and you're building culture on the actual meeting itself too. And it's going to build momentum and it's going to build excitement for the team, right? So all of those things are kind of tied in one. You're building the excitement for the meeting. You're building relationships as you're personally reaching out to people and, letting them know that it is really valuable for you to be there. And also that I value you being there, right? So it's kind of like both sides.
Right. So I get the basic concept. It is interesting for people to rather look forward to a team meeting than dread it. From my very own personal perspective, I have to say I'm more middle ground. There are hardly any meetings I dread. Maybe there are people I'm not really super fond of, but I mean, if it's your job, you push through. But there are also not necessarily meetings I really, really look forward to. I do like the meetings more when I have meetings with people I really like. I myself also run my own team meetings, and I do that more than once a month. But why do you have to love a team meeting or dread it? Why can't you have a more neutral and practical approach to this? What she's advising here is to create excitement and to create FOMO. That is why you have to have sort of a countdown, send personal messages to make people really interested and really excited for the one big team meeting in the month. That is really very extra and very strange. First of all, it sounds like a lot of work. You have to set kind of a countdown, send out individual messages. That goes back to my question, why can a team meeting not be middle ground? I'll be there, I'll do my job, thank you, and I'm looking forward to talking to you. Then after the meeting, you say goodbye. That's at least my approach to this. And that is me speaking about my actual, factual, salary-based corporate job that does pay me. But I guess it works different in MLMs. Because this already sounds quite exhausting to me, that you have to put so much thought and so much effort into a potential meeting to make sure that more people will show up, or that most people or all people will show up. It sounds like a full-time job that you have to prep an entire day just to set up this one meeting. But I guess that is something that happens, and that's probably also why this is a team meeting that happens once a month, that you can do because you don't have anything actual of substance to discuss, but it's more of a setup for this brainwashing experience that I spoke about before. In an actual job, that wouldn't be the case. You can have shorter meetings. Hey, let's jump quickly on a call. In an actual legitimate job, the question is not, are you excited or do you dread it? You show up, you do your job, you say farewell, and you meet regularly, depending on the topics you have to discuss and the actual factual information you have to exchange. Like I said, probably different in MLMs, where you don't have a lot of factual information to share, but more create a team culture, an atmosphere that people don't want to miss out on. You might be love bombing people on your calls. You might show appreciation, and you really need to build this up so that the people who typically don't join team calls in MLMs will very likely join your team call, and therefore will be able to brainwash themselves and get brainwashed into staying in an MLM longer. This sounds very alien. This sounds very strange from somebody who comes from a more practical perspective of having an actual job, of leading an actual team myself, setting up those team calls, and also of attending team calls from others.
So the time of the meeting is here. So now we've built the excitement. We have reached out personally. We've done all the things. And now it is the actual night of the meeting. And it's time to go. So on the meeting, I like to play upbeat music as people enter. So it's just something that, again, is going to build excitement as people are coming in. They're saying to each other, hey, everybody, hey, it's going to be fun. Glad you're here. Things like that. And so it isn't just a meeting, guys. It is a celebration. So your team training should actually be a celebration, not just information. And we're going to get into all the different things that you're going to go over on your meeting. But guys, this should be a really exciting time and a celebration to celebrate your team and all the wins, right? So when the song ends and, you've been playing that upbeat music, the song ends, and here are the key things that you're going to want to do on your meeting. So if you're taking notes, number one, you want to have some inspiration and some motivation, right? Something inspirational or motivating. Number two, you want it to be fun. Number three, you want to have some recognition. Number four, some information. Number five, a call to action. And number six, I like to do giveaways. Okay. So those are the 6 things that I'm going to do, and we're going to unpack each of those. So number one, the inspiration or motivation. I always start out with a quote, a quick story, or a poem, something that will inspire the team. Just like I started out here with a little excerpt of this book, right? And so just something that is going to kind of go along. It's going to set the mood. It's going to go along with what you're talking about or what your theme is for the night. And so doing that kind of lets them know, like, hey, this is game on, right? This is the time that we're coming. We're going to spend time on our business, and we're going to be right there in the zone, right? And so I get them thinking, I get them inspired and ready to kick off the night. And to me, that right there is exciting. Just in itself, because they showed up, right? And so if they're there, you want it to be valuable to them.
It's giving culty vibes already. A team meeting is a celebration. Why can't a team meeting just be exactly that? A meeting. with a team, aka a team meeting. The first topic she's talking about is inspiration and motivation, and that is all good. That is all fine. Of course, it is nicer if people join a team meeting and they're inspired and they're motivated to go into the meeting rather than dreading it. But why do we go this culty route? All of that is good and fine. Create a positive space, be inspiring, be motivating. But my question also in the MLM context is, why does somebody else have to motivate you and inspire you and consistently remind you with a countdown and approach you personally to join a team meeting when you're actually running your own business, when you're your own boss babe, when you're the CEO of your own small company? Shouldn't you be able to motivate yourself? Or maybe it's the case because you're not actually running your own company, but you're a part of a bigger team, and the people running the meeting, the leaders, they need you to show up there, and that is why you might be independently contracted, but you're not as independent as you think you are. If you're running your own business, why do you need reminders from people to join a team meeting? Because you're not running your own business.
So I don't know what business everybody's with, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. Let's just say that you're with Pampered Chef. You don't want your meeting to start with Pampered Chef and end with Pampered Chef. Okay. It is not all about business. Business only is boring. Okay. So inspiring and motivating the team should be first on the list. Second thing, guys, the fun factor. All right. Again, if it's all business, people will not keep coming back. Okay. I know this. And I used to have over 100 people on team training, and they did not want to miss team training. Okay. So when I say fun factor, I mean fun factor. And so let's talk about that. Fun things like team building activities. It will keep coming back. Plus, it helps you get to know them. Okay. When you do something fun and interactive, then you're going to really get to know your team members, which that's really a big part of creating the culture, is building the relationships and getting to know the team members. So some of the things that I've done in the past is, all right, guys, tell us something about you that no one else would know. All right. So something like that. And this can be, they can unmute to do this depends on your time. How long your team meetings are. I like them to unmute. I like the interaction, but if you want them to type it in the chat, that's fine too. Also, what about 2 truths and a lie? That's always a fun one, right? And another one is describe your day today in 1 word. And this can be funny, or it can be like, oh my goodness, can't believe that happened, right? But something else, and we're going to practice a team building right now. We're just going to take a couple minutes to do this, but this is always a great one that I like to do, which is I want you guys, and we're only going to pick like 1 or 2 people. Okay. But I want you to pick up something that you have right now that's near you. And I want you to hold it up, and I want you to sell that to me right now. Okay. So who wants to be really brave and sell whatever it is that's on your desk or on your couch or in your chair really quickly? I want you to sell it to me really quickly. Okay, I see. It looks like Teresa is holding something up. Teresa?
This is the cutest guinea pig ever, and it will make
this
you
could be
live
embarrassing.
forever.
It is
Buy it.
pure ginger lime THC CBD that I put on my arthritis.
Okay.
It helps me sleep. I don't have pain in my arthritis on my foot when I use this. And it's worth every penny of $75.
All right. Okay. So you see how she's like describing it. She's describing like what it's done for her. She gives you the details. She says it's worth it, right? It's worth every penny basically of that $75. So that tells me a little bit about Teresa. Just guys, in that, what was that? Maybe 10 seconds. Okay. So I know now that Teresa has arthritis. I know that she really loves this. I know that she's a good seller because she just sold me on this stuff right here, right? And so if she would have given me anything else, like any other descriptive words, I would have known a lot about Teresa in 10 seconds, okay? Does anyone else want to be brave and sell me the item really quickly? Anybody else? I can't see everybody, on the screen. So just if you want to unmute or come off and...
I'll be brave because
okay.
My coffee cup is right next to me.
Perfect,
and girl,
Sharon.
I can sell you some coffee because coffee is like my favorite drink in the world. And this coffee cup holds my coffee and keeps it warm. until I'm finished with it. And I absolutely love my coffee cup.
I love that. So I know now that Sherry loves coffee, right? So that's one thing right there. So if I was to put out an incentive for my team of a coffee gift card, right? I know Sherry's probably all over that, okay? Because she loves coffee. So I've learned about Sherry and I know nothing about Sherry. I don't know who Sherry is. I don't know what company she's with right now. I know nothing about Sherry, but I do know that she loves coffee and she loves a good mug, right? So that's two things that I have learned. Just do you see where I'm going with this, guys? It's really about team building, and it doesn't matter what you do. But if you guys use that, I promise you, you're going to learn about your team. And some people will really go in depth. I mean, they're just really up in it, and you're really learning their personality traits. You're learning all about them in such a short amount of time. It makes it fun, you guys. And guess what else? The team is learning about each other too, right? Because it's not just about the leader with the team members, but it's about the team working together as a team collectively. And so this is super exciting. I love it. Thank you guys for participating in that, Teresa and Sherry. That was great.
Was it though? I mean, I sold you on this cute guinea pig and I told you it would prolong your life. Some sort of oil or concoction for your arthritis. And a coffee mug that keeps coffee hot? No, stinky. This is a guinea pig that prolongs your life, so get it. I think I should have won this, okay? Here's my take on this. Business first. Yes, make it fun, but why are you getting together with people? You have a certain purpose. In an actual reputable job, it would be to discuss actual factual topics important to you, important to your team, important to a certain project. Make it fun, but let's not forget the focus why you are on a team meeting. Potentially, best case scenario, because you're there to discuss business. And if not, then maybe you should hear some sort of alarm bells and maybe, you should check that. And get to know your team members, the people you manage or the people that report to you. Absolutely. Because a business approach and a job, there is always a little bit more that goes into this. Business first, job first, but you want to communicate with people that you know a little bit more about. I would argue, though, that doesn't have to be that forceful on a weird team approach meeting like the one we're hearing here. I guess that's normal in MLMs, but you will learn about your team members over time. You don't need to have this kindergarten approach like on this meeting. In my experience, those things are rather off-putting because most people, they will not just unmute themselves to tell a fun fact. It is different if you meet with people and you've hardly ever seen them and you say, hey, we're new in this group, please just introduce yourself quickly. I will start and then I will ask the people to go around and also for them to introduce themselves. You can do all of that. Create a relaxed, create a good and an open-minded discussion and an open-minded meeting without those weird games. Because in my experience, they are rather off-putting and some people will be kind of in shock. Don't ask me, don't ask me, don't ask me. And like she did with the second person, if you're leading a team meeting and you're waiting too long and nobody wants to unmute and nobody wants to talk, you need to know when to stop that. So don't push that out into oblivion. That can actually backfire. That is probably a normal approach in MLM when you have a team of 600 or 60 people where you do not know each and every person individually. But it's a little bit different in a legitimate, reputable job where everybody on that call gets paid.
So those are some activities that you can do, and those are some ideas of what it means to create culture, create team building within the team. Let's move on to number 3, which is recognition. So recognition is so important, you guys. So important. You can do this many different ways. I like to start off by saying, way to go, everyone. Our organization sold X amount last month. You were all amazing. You all contributed. Great job, right? And so it's all about everybody. And then you can go into personal recognition. And because as you know, what you want repeated is what you want to recognize, right? So if you don't want them to do the same thing or better the next month, then just don't recognize them. but I know that you do, right? So you want to have that recognition. And I know you guys have heard this before, but people will do more for praises than raises. And it is so true that people love to hear their names. They love to talk about themselves. They love to see their names on things. And I don't care if people say that they don't. Every human loves some form of recognition, right? I used to give a shout out for anything. If I would call a team member and they had their business set up on as their voicemail and I didn't get them, then I would leave them a message and I would say, and oh, by the way, I loved your voicemail, da, 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 da. Then I'd go on the team page and guess what? Susie, oh my gosh, I called Susie today. I had to leave her a message. I got her voicemail, but wow, did she have an amazing voicemail set up all about her business. Way to promote your business, Susie. Okay. So it could be something as simple as that. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, Dawn, well, my team they're not really doing anything. I don't have that many people. I promise you, if you're looking, you can find something to recognize them for. Okay. I don't care if your top seller sold $247. She is your top seller and you better, by golly, be recognizing her, right? So make sure that you're doing this on your team meetings, but not just on your team meetings, in your team page. All the ways you go on their wall, go tag them in something, do something, because again, you're not just creating this one-time thing or this once a month thing. Guys, you're creating culture, which is a daily thing, which is going to create the teamwork, right? And so whether they're recruiting, they have sales, they have shows, they're being the most active on social with their business, shout out every single thing that you can think of. And it's very, very important to do this. And what, when you start doing this, again, what you're doing as the leader is you're setting the pace because you're wanting your team to follow suit. You're wanting them to do the same things that you're doing, right? And so when they have people under them that are doing things, you're going to see them doing the same exact things that you're doing. And if you're doing nothing, they're going to do nothing. So it works both ways, right?
Recognition is important, yes. If you get praise, if you get recognized for a good job you did, that is great. And if you are in charge of a team of people, also do the same and say, thank you, that was great. You did a great job, whether that is in a team meeting or in a one-on-one. But what I'm hearing here is not recognition. This is love bombing. If you have to search, really get into the nitty-gritty to find something that you can then recognize, there is something wrong. It is so easy to praise people in MLMs, and people in MLMs are so easily excitable because every little thing will be a shout out and will be amazing. This is amazing. This is so valuable. This is so good. People, make notes. You don't want to miss this because this person is doing so great. But these types of shout outs, if you shout out everybody for every little thing, they don't hold a lot of worth or value. I got up this morning, I brushed my hair, I tied my shoes, and I walked around the block. Amazing. You did an amazing job. That is not really an achievement. Maybe for somebody who struggles with some sort of depression or something's like, hey, this is actually my first day that I did something that I felt active enough, but let's not go that extreme route. Shouting somebody out for something and saying, thank you for doing a great job is awesome. Recognition is important. This example is just called brainwashing and is love bombing.
So, okay, let's move on to the next point, which is the fourth point, information. So we do have to have the information part in a team meeting or team training, right? So it can't just be fun. And it can't just be recognition, and it can't just be motivation and inspiration. We do have to have the information factor there. So I personally like to do announcements first. So like what's coming up, those types of things, maybe what the company's incentives are, maybe, just announcements for the month, things that are going on for the month at the very beginning of training. But then I like to also do a formal training. So in the middle of a meeting, I like to do a formal training. And some of you are probably thinking, oh, Dawn, I'm not really like a great speaker. I don't really know. What should I train on? How am I going to do this? And the only way to really, master it is to do it, right? And to just keep on doing it. But in the beginning, if you're kind of nervous about that and you're not really sure, the first few meetings, you could always have a guest speaker come on and, let them talk for a few minutes about whatever a specialty topic, whether it's recruiting or whether it's sales or, depending on what your business is, maybe shows or bookings or whatever. And so you're going to want to have someone come in if you're just not quite sure, but then you're going to catch on and you're going to start to realize what it is that the team needs. And you're going to master that yourself after giving it a few. So if you have lots of leaders, so if you have multiple leaders under you, something that I used to do was I would do what I called a talking point segment in my meetings. And I would have one of my leaders come on and speak for about 10 minutes. And I would ask them to speak either on something they're passionate about, something they felt that they were really good at, or something they had success with the month before. Okay. So if you have multiple leaders, you could have them do something like that. You could even have a team member speak for 5 minutes about something they had success with from the previous month, right? So that's something else that you can do. And I called that talking point segment where I would have one of them do that. The information you train on needs to be beneficial so that they see the value in the meeting. Again, it can't be something that was in the email that the home office already sent out, right? It has to be something that especially it's specific and it's, for whatever it is that your team does. So with whatever company that you're with, something that specializes in their growth so that they see the value in it. Number 5, a call to action. Okay. So I like to give the team a call to action, kind of like a challenge, something to work towards. To give you an example, right now I have a June bug. I'm calling it a June bug because this is June. And so there's a graphic in my team page that says, be a June bug. Okay. And so what it is they have to comment on that thread every time they're a June bug, which means if they got a recruit, if they got an order, if they held an event, whether a pop-up or a virtual, they say, I'm a June bug, I got an order. I'm a June bug, I got a recruit, right? It's just a cute little thing, but all of them that participate in that, so the ones who comment on that thread go into a drawing. We just started a new boutique with our company, and so they can get some swag. So they're all going into a drawing for new swag, okay? And so guess what it does? It builds momentum, and it builds culture, and people get excited, and there's all kinds of comments in there. And that's what you want. Last month I did, I'm a maniac, MAYNIAC, okay? And so they did that. But every month it's something different that they're working towards, and so I'll put that out. So an incentive. Another thing that I do for hitting a certain rank by the 15th of the month, they get into a drawing for a $25 Starbucks card, okay? So there's just different things that you're doing, but you want to put out what your incentives are on your meeting, okay? And so you're still putting it out in the team page, you're still creating the culture, but you're also announcing and doing those things and giving the call to action on the meeting. So it gets a lot of interaction, you guys, and it kind of creates a little bit of competition too, okay? Healthy competition. So if people see that Susie got an order, well, they want to be able to comment on that thread that they got an order, right? Or that they held an event or that they got a recruit. And so they start commenting on that. So whatever's going to be beneficial to them in their business and also build excitement and momentum and culture, that's the goal. So that's why you're doing the call to action, for nothing else but to be beneficial to the team. All right.
So this is the information part. This should actually be the heart of the call, the most important one, the most important part. But her lead up to this was like, you're like, ooh, maybe you're not good speakers. Well, then you also are probably not good at the other task that you spoke about. This is the essential thing in a call, to share information, or at least it should be. It is sufficient when you get together in an actual job, on an actual team meeting, to discuss a specific topic, to discuss what you're doing over the course of the week or the month or a specific project. That is sufficient in a normal meeting, but I guess not in a cult. I think it is good that she said there has to be a certain value, because that is something that I personally think is lacking a lot in MLM calls. I have seen a good amount of these now. I've also reacted to a lot of them myself, watched those on other creators' channels. The one thing that is really, really lacking is actual factual information. It is rather about brainwashing the people and teaching them how to brainwash themselves rather than spreading practical information, how to be more successful. How do you sell more products? How do you sell products at all? How do you recruit more people? How do you recruit at all? She also follows that part up with a call to action, which I personally find good. It is good to finish a call or to finish the information part with a call to action. The example that she's mentioning is rather weird again. Oh, yeah, I recruited somebody, so I'm a June bug. I sold something, I'm a June bug. I'm attending a meeting, I'm a June bug. I hold my own selling event, I'm a June bug. That is rather strange in my opinion, because a call to action, also in an MLM and in a team meeting in general, I would set that up differently. Let's say you are in a sales-based job, then your call to action after that call would not be post on the June bug if you've achieved something, but it is rather you setting up information in the call, 1, 2, 3, about how to sell products, how to recruit, how to post on social media. And then in the call to action part, you tell your team, and now you go on social media and you do those steps. You reach out to 10 people. You try to recruit 10 people and you start with doing these steps. You will approach people on social media in this and that way, and now follow up with the steps I just taught you. That would be a call to action that, in my opinion, is also practical, that is also valuable, and not, I'm a June bug. A call to action right after a meeting and a reminder to do something is always good when the information is still fresh in your head. But I guess in order to do so, you need to share actual practical information that can further the individual, that can further your business, that can further your team. And if that information is lacking, then you don't need a call to action.
Number 7, I told you guys, I always do giveaways. All right. So this keeps most people staying to the end because I don't do the giveaways until the end. And who doesn't love a good giveaway? I mean, everybody does. And so when people are on there, they're wondering, like, you know, who's going to win the giveaway? What are they going to get? And it will get people on there, but it will also keep people there. And so I love to do it. Okay. So, and that's up to you what you want to do. You know, if you want to do just like a $5 gift card, or if you want to give a product away or something like that, but do some type of a giveaway again for the fun factor. Because remember, you're not starting and ending the meeting with business. You're starting it with something else and you're ending it with something else. So in this case, I'm starting with inspiration. I'm ending with something fun. Okay.
Giveaway sounds pricey. If you're in a multi-level marketing company and you don't make a lot of money and you don't have a big team, all of those items, they come out of your own pocket. Whether it's a $5 gift card, then in that case, it is $5 that come out of your pocket. You don't make a lot of money. That is why a lot of people end up in debt because of things like this. You don't make a lot of money, but you run a team, you want to better your team, you want to recruit more people, you want to keep the people on your team, then follow my advice how to hold a successful team meeting, and then hand out gifts. That can be pricey. If you have to have giveaways so that people will stick until the end of the meeting, then that is concerning in my opinion, because you could also just, I don't know, pay the participants for the time they spent there, as it is, for example, in my job. I don't have to bribe people to stay until the end of one of our team meetings because they get paid for the entire team meeting and they're getting actual valuable information out of that meeting. And even in the case if not, you say, hello, how are you doing? If you get along well with your colleagues, you start in a nice way, you end in a nice way, but you don't need to bribe them to stay until the end, because then you have a giveaway. Can you imagine that? In an actual job, that would be hilarious.
So now let's talk about when the meeting is over. And you're like, wait, what? We got to do something when the meeting is over? Like, I thought we were just talking about the meeting. So after the meeting is over, I always go into the team page and I give a shout out to every single person that was on the meeting that night. Okay. Thank you so much, Susie, Sally, Missy, Julie, blah, 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 who was on tonight. Oh my gosh, we had such a great meeting. Here's the prize winners for tonight. Tag them in that. And then I ask, what was your biggest takeaway? What was your biggest takeaway from tonight? Okay. And then guess what? They start commenting. So now the people who weren't on, they're like, oh man, like I missed a good meeting, right? I must have missed some really good information. I must have missed some really great things. And I wasn't in on the giveaway, right? Because I wasn't on there. And you know, she gave away 3 $10 Starbucks cards tonight or whatever. And I missed out because I wasn't there. Okay. So again, it's not just about the meeting, but you're creating excitement and desire before. And then afterwards, you're giving a shout out and wanting to know what the takeaway is. Because guess what, guys? If there's no takeaway, sorry, it wasn't really beneficial. Was it? So what was it missing? Which part was it missing? So quickly, let's recap. Building lots of excitement, running a great meeting that meets all areas, the fun factor, information, motivation, recognition, call to action, and giveaways will surely have you on your way to creating culture and building a strong team, right? I heard the other day that teamwork is really just trust work. Teamwork is really just trust work.
If you repeat it, it is more important, so that the audience knows this was important. If you repeat it, then it was important. So if you repeat it, the audience knows it's important. Got it. It was the important part. I think there were some actually good practical tips. I get it. We're talking MLM level, so the bar is rather low. There were some kindergarten approaches to certain topics, but I didn't fully hate this. There were actually some good and practical tips. Weird in the MLM context yet again, but this was apparently more factual than a lot of other calls and MLM podcasts that I personally have listened to before. But let's remember one thing. You do not get paid for these team meetings. Neither the person leading the team, nor the people that are invited speaking on the team meeting, nor the people attending the team meeting as the team. You don't get paid for that. You don't make money that way. You will brainwash yourself or brainwash others or do the brainwashing part, but you don't get paid for any of that. So that could also potentially be a waste of your time. And I guess that is really the core of this business. It's the team leader's job to set up those meetings, to brainwash people into staying longer, and the team members into brainwashing themselves to stay longer so that they can make their upline more money and also hope that the longer they stay, the more likely is it that they might be able to sell a product and recruit someone as well. This is really just a brainwashing event and not an actual team event. That is also why you need to create excitement and FOMO, because people don't want to miss out on this. When I post about this, reach out to every single person, which sounds exhausting yet again. Reach out to people. Hey, this giveaway prize is for you. Thank you for attending. This is not something you would see in an actual reputable job. I know I've said it before, but it is still true. Create FOMO so that the people who haven't attended the meeting, who didn't have time to attend the meeting, they will do so the next time because they're afraid they missed out on some actual important information. And from what I gather from this call so far, you probably didn't miss out on a lot. But as long as you create excitement over nothing, you create excitement over something, at least in the MLM world.
So thanks again for having me this morning, and let's open it up for questions.
Oh my gosh. First of all, before we open up for questions, thank you so much. This is so good. I was even like, oh my God, yeah, goosebumps. I was like, mic drop moment.
Amazing.
So many takeaways. Bev says this is an amazing training, genius. I'm just reading some of the comments. Love these. Let's see, great ideas. Get to know people. Love all of this. Love this formula. Yes. So this was so good. So I think also just in general, something that is not talked about very much, right? Like, there's this concept of like, when you promote, right, and like becoming this leader and like stepping into this, like that leadership role. But a lot of people don't know how to effectively market, right? Continue to market, not just the business and how to like continue to want their team to continue to work the business, but then how do you like market, trainings or like a boot camp or whatever, right? And like what else should be included. So I loved this formula for like the 6 things, like or 7 things that need to be included in a team training. And obviously you can tell by the feedback that this was really helpful to our clients. So thank you.
Didn't I say it? It is so easy to excite MLM Hans. This was amazing. This was so exciting. You're a genius. This was a very basic call. This was basic information. Not the worst in MLMs, granted, but there was nothing spectacular or amazing. This is really sad to see that people actually, who are considered leaders, actually have to be on calls like this, on podcasts like this. The information they spread is being perceived as amazing. It is not. It is a better information, a better team call, a better podcast when it comes to MLM context, but it wasn't great. No, the Huns are too easy to excite. Let's keep it as that. What is following now is still another 22 minutes of Q&A. I will stop the video now because I think that it's easier to split this up. This was the actual information on how to run a successful team meeting. From what I gather, successful team meeting means people attend the meeting, or more people attend the meeting. That is what I gather with successful in this context means. So I will stop the video here. I think it is more of a round and interesting topic to stop it here. But if you're interested in the Q&A, because there's still a good bit to go, then tune in next Tuesday. Then I will separately upload the Q&A if it is good. If not, you will never see this, then you will never hear of this again. But maybe the next video will just be a Q&A with former leaders into MLMs. I think that is more interesting. If you like these types of videos, then please consider subscribing. If you like this specific one, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to let me know something, please feel free to do so in the comment section down below. And if you like these types of videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one, potentially on Tuesday for the Q&A. Cheers!